Another video on the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing how you can maximize prepping for the external exams. Now, this is only really applicable to the external exams that have questions. I know that's a bit of a weird thing to say, but like for Englishes and stuff where you have to write a written response, this model will not exactly work for that particularly, okay? Now, why you should trust my advice? Well, I got a D plus in year 10 mathematics, and then in year 12 I've got 92 out of 100 for specialist math, and 95 for 4 out of my 5 subjects. The only subject I didn't do that well in was English, which was 70%. So, with the math and sciences, I would say probably take my advice. Now, ideally, this is what you want to be doing when you're prepping for your external exam, okay? Do not do the past external exams in class. Now, what do I mean by this? If you're doing the past external exams in class, you're doing the external exam not in the conditions they were made for. So what I mean by that is the external exam is made to be 90 minutes if it's for methods, specialist, physics and chemistry. 90 minutes of uninterrupted, you do the test, etc. and you have the perusal time. If you're doing it in class, there is no pressure element to it. So it's basically just doing questions like out of a textbook, which is not exactly the environment you're going to be going into. So why would you not practice that environment? Now, a lot of people can argue like, oh, what if I don't know how to do the questions? Well, you're supposed to figure that out when you do a practice external exam and then mark it afterwards. So this is the best way to study for these external exams. If you want like 47 plus out of 50, this is the best model and it works pretty much no matter what, but a lot of people don't follow it properly. If you don't follow it properly, you won't see the results. So we have currently these external exams, like past ones, to have access to. You've got 2020 all the way up until 2024, okay? So now if I'm assuming it's for math and the sciences, that's a paper 1 and a paper 2 each. So in total, we have quote unquote 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. You have 10 external exams, and that's only for like one subject, okay? Now ideally, you probably would have wanted to start this probably in August, but if you're starting it now, that can be fine as well. It depends on your volume as well. So what I've been telling my students to do, and what I always tell everyone to do when they're prepping for the external exam, is this. Start with now your mocks. When you sit a mock, your mock should be a very bad result because you've just finished unit 4 stuff, and when you're heading in to do your mock, you're getting tested on unit 3 stuff and questions that have unit 4 and unit 3 built into them. And plus, you probably haven't prepped for that mock as if you would have prepped for your IA1, IA2 and IA3 pretty much. So most people get around 30%, I'm not even kidding, nearly with all their subjects, unless they're doing pretty well with their stuff, okay? Now, if you're getting 30-something%, the mock is meant to act as a shock to you. It's meant to kick you guys into gear, pretty much saying, oh, I need to study this, because if you were to sit the external exam that day of your mock, that would be your actual result. Now, things the mock does not consider, when I've seen people mark their mocks, a lot of the teachers may not follow through error. So for example, if you get question A wrong, and then you use that answer for the rest of the questions, a lot of teachers might just give you a big fat X everywhere because all your answers would be wrong. But that's not true. If you got one section wrong, but the rest of your working is correct, you will get follow through marking. So that's one thing mocks don't account for. The other thing as well is they don't account for the scaling factor as well, because you will never actually see your past external exam ever. So when you sit your external exam, you will not get to see which questions you got right or got wrong pretty much. So the reason for this, and this is actually pretty smart as well, if everyone got their past, like their external exams back pretty much, and let's say, I don't know, let's make up a name, Sarah gets question such and such wrong, but she thinks she got it right, and contests to QCAA. Can you imagine every year 12 student doing that to the system? Everyone would have to sit another external exam again if there's like an error wrong with it, or people complaining too much. So I think, in my personal opinion, that's why they don't show it, just in case like there's contestants and stuff, okay? That's why there's a scaling factor as well. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. So your mock should be like your shocker. So let's say you're getting like 30% on your mock. That does not mean you're going to get 30% on your external, okay? Now, this is actually, I actually got, what did I get on my mock for chemistry? I got 28%. On my external exam, I got 47 out of 50, okay? So as you can see, that's a pretty big difference, okay? However, this is exactly what I did when I was prepping for that external exam and all my external exams. Now, you've got 2020, paper 1 and paper 2. One is a tech active and one is a tech free one. Both of them are 90 minutes. So ideally, as soon as you finish your mock, you can work out what questions you got wrong, work out the topics you got wrong, study those ones. Then I would just go sit 2020 and just go paper 1. So like for 1 week. So paper 1, 90 minutes. Now, you've got to actually do that exam in the 90 minutes. If you're not going to do it in the 90 minutes, what's the point in setting up those conditions? You want a space in your house, the library, or at school where you can be uninterrupted for that 90 minutes to mimic that environment pretty much. Now, if you cannot answer a question, then just try and write something down pretty much, because you can't just, well, if you skip over a question, you lose 100% of the marks when you don't write anything down to opposed to writing something down, okay? So I would write something down no matter what, even if you had no idea what you're doing. Now, you've got to stick at it for that 90 minutes, even if you finish it, because you've got to keep checking it over and over again because you want to mimic that environment. Once that 90 minutes is finished, you want to mark it immediately. A lot of people, oh, I can mark it tomorrow. No. If you mark it immediately, you'll remember it so much better, you'll learn so much more from it straight away, because you've already been on, like, let's say question 20, you're like, oh, I don't know how to answer this, I'm so close. Then you mark it, then you have that aha moment, and you're like, oh, damn, that's actually really easy. Or you have those light bulb moments. If that happens straight away, you will strengthen that neural pathway for that concept, and you'll remember a lot better. Now, when you mark it, you'll get two things. You'll get a percentage, and you'll get a list, okay? So your percentage, let's say it's like 43% or something like that. You'll get a list of questions you don't know how to do, okay? Now, once you do that, you then study the concepts, or you identify the concepts of those questions you're getting wrong. So for example, if it's like chemistry, let's say you're getting equilibrium wrong, you can study equilibrium, but you also want to hyperfixate on what thing in equilibrium you're getting wrong. So for example, if I'm saying equilibrium, that's a pretty broad topic. You want to like nail it down. What specifically about equilibrium are you getting wrong? Is it the ice tables? Is it the calculation? Is it the graphing? Is it Le Chalais principle? You want to nail down a certain concept to a certain question type. You want to be as specific as possible, because if you can get more specific and you can study that bottleneck, then pretty much you are more likely to get that question right if you study it, okay? That is how this model works. So, you do an exam. Now, this is just paper 1. Don't do paper 2 yet. Just do this one here. Mark it, get your percentage, record that in a spreadsheet, get your list of questions, identify the concept, and identify the specific part of the question you're not getting right. Study it when you're doing like your easy study, and that's like textbook questions, reading over notes, etc. Now, in my opinion, reading over notes does nothing. You want active recall. So, for example, any form of memorization might help you with little parts of chemistry. It won't help you at all with math. You need to be doing as much practice questions as possible. Once you work out that thing, you then do that in like whether it's your textbook or the Oxford Study Buddy, etc., or whatever resource your teacher's giving you. You do that at school, etc., with your friends. You're like, oh, how do I solve this question? Once you learn how to solve it, do a lot of volume on that question, and you'll have a couple things here. That might be like probably 3 hours worth of study, etc. Once you do all that, theoretically, you would have, quote unquote, learnt the things you don't know how to do. Then you would sit 2020 paper 2, which is 90 minutes. Do it again in exam conditions. Then you would mark it. Then you would record a percentage. Then you'll get a list of questions and the exact same process. Now, if it's paper 1 and paper 2, there will be no percentage change really, because they're different types of questions. One is calculated and one is tech free. So record that percentage as well. So let's say it's 40%, okay? Now, you do this for paper 1 and paper 2. Now, I would do them, depends where we are. So we're end of September now. You could probably be doing 2 exams per week, but you got to space it out as well. Because if you're doing too much volume, it will not help you. You've got to study smarter, not harder. So fatigue management when prepping for this external exam is just as important in doing the actual questions itself, okay? You've got to give your brain time to take in the knowledge and not spam it too much, okay? It's like a different form of cramming like knowledge in, etc. Okay, so I would probably do 2 papers a week and I would space it out, etc. Okay, now this is just for one subject. You can alternate between subjects. So for example, Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday to Thursday to Friday, you could do methods, physics, chemistry, specialists, etc. during those days, and that 5th subject for your ATAR as well. Okay, so that's 2 weeks of content just for one exam. Okay, then you would do 2021 and you would repeat the process. Now what should happen is you should actually get a very similar percentage to the first paper 1. So let's say it's like 44%. Or you should see an increase. You should not see a decrease if you've done that properly there, like actively done that properly. You should see roughly around the same or a little bit higher, okay? You then repeat the process. You mark it, etc. Right after you finish it in exam conditions, you record your percentage, which was the 44%. You get the list of questions, you identify the concept, you work out the certain part of the question that you don't know how to do. Now, what should start to happen is through each exam, you should start to see your percentage increase. Now, your percentage will start to increase gradually at first, but it will slowly get higher and higher and higher until it reaches a certain stopping point. So what happened with me, I'll give you my actual specialist exam results when I was prepping. So when I was starting out, I think it was like 50% for the first exam. Then, now this is, I'm just going to be doing paper 1 here. Paper 2 follows a similar trend. Then I got like 56%. Then I got like 63%. Then I got 74%. And then I got like 90%. Okay? Now that was over the course of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like 10 weeks there, because there's 2 exams for each of them, okay? Because remember, paper 2 would help paper 1 slightly, and vice versa for each of them, okay? Now, ideally, you would have wanted to start this in August, okay? Now, even though it is heading into October, there's no reason why you can't do this now, okay? Now, ideally, do not do any external exams if you've looked at them in class, because that gets rid of the whole point of doing a exam in exam conditions, because you've already seen the questions. If you do this, it doesn't matter where your percentage is sitting, you should start to see an increase, okay? This model works very, very well, but a lot of people don't know how to apply it, okay? So that's my advice, to get as high as possible marks for your external exams, okay? Now, if you are interested in what I think is going to be on each external exam, I'll be making a prediction video probably close towards it. I wouldn't make it right now because it's probably a bit too early, but I'll be making it a bit closer. But if you enjoyed this video and you have any questions, leave something in the comments and I'll try my best to answer it. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.